Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30. It is Monday, March 17th. Time to wrap it up. And we got a rally. Look at that thing. What a rally we got. I am optimistic. Last update, I was semi-optimistic that we could hold this line. We were talking about this in the if I go back just a little bit, we were talking about this right here at the 130 update. They were going back and forth here. 130 was kind of right here. They were going back and forth. They haven't really started this move to the upside just yet. And they kind of they just barely started. And I was like, okay, let's see what they can do. And they took it out and then extended and then knocked some stuff out. So yeah, I think we are in a pretty good mood right now to head higher, at least if they can hold on to these gains. So looking at the capital flow and the ES, we are right up here now, up against that 40. So this is the support area, key support area on the way down, and resistance on the way up, and we have just knocked it out. So if they can hold above it, and we saw them we were down here, kind of revert retesting the support area at the 5740s. If they can hold it going into the close, we may have a shot at turning this around. So this will be the second day then we are extending to the upside. Well, it is the second day we are extending to the upside. The question is just how if they're going to be able to hold on to that going into the close. That's going to be the question. But I'm going to start off on the long side, given that what's going on right now. I'm going to assume we can stay above it. If they close below that 57.30 to 40 support area, I will take off the long bias and just start off range bound. But if they can hold it, starting off from the long side. Exciting move. So if they start retracing below the 40s here, you'll see these J and K prints. They can retrace it all the way down here to the 57.20 pretty easily. So I'm going to be looking to buying against that 57.40s, 57. Well, it's kind of 57.45, 57.35. Those two support areas. I'm going to adjust them for tomorrow, but they're going to build just a little bit higher. For rotations back up again, if they trade below that 57.35s. I'm going to be looking for them to run down here to this lower support area, this lower distribution. But let's see. I mean, I'm going to be holding on. Let's see if they can hold this going into the close. So starting off on the long side, not going to be super aggressive on the short side of this, given that there's a nice little squeeze to the upside. And this is a squeeze. People, they're getting short on the way up here. If you didn't work with tight stops and admit when you're wrong, you got crushed. At this point, we pulled back a little bit, and I was watching them for a potential retracement kind of dynamic, back down into retracing these JK prints. So far, not happening, but doesn't mean it can't. The last 10 minutes, usually you get a lot of crazy stuff happening. Now going into tomorrow, we have the Fed meeting begins at 8:30. We get housing starts and permits and import-export prices. At 9:15, we get industrial production. We have a treasury buyback announcement at 11, and the 20-year bond auction at 1. So that's where we are. So a little bit of news at 8:30, 9:15. Fed meeting begins. And Fed meeting days, they could be a doldrum kind of a range-bound day, or the market could move pretty good ahead of a meeting, ahead of an expected result. So buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of dynamic, or sell the rumor, buy the fact. Usually you say it the reverse way, but at this point, starting off from the long side, watching these support areas very carefully to see if they're going to hold up into the close. If not, we're starting off range bound. If they do, we're starting off from the long side, right? Looking at our no trades on the ES. I did take a couple of NASDAQ trades, and I'll show you those now. They didn't go much far. So I mean, the first trade I took was after this big rotation up, right up here against the 150s. L period ran out of gas. Well, this is L period started. Looked at it run out of gas. I tried a short trade. It went to break even and then shook me out of that one. It took a little bit higher. Then I tried a long trade on the way back down. It started sliding back, and because this almost makes me feel like I'm thinking about a short trade for a move, the retracement trade here. But I wasn't going to be super aggressive about it. With this kind of a trend behind you, you want to be just a little bit cautious about it. But as they start stalling against this tablet and then kind of holding on, yes, going sideways. I figured, okay, after that little rotation, usually I get long when it starts trading higher and I get caught. At this point, I waited for them to actually start heading lower, and I got in long, great trade location. I had my stop right below that rotation, and it went higher, then lower, then not anywhere, and after that, they just canceled it. I just got out of it, and I was expecting them to show a little bit more strength, and they're not. So they may do that into the close, but at this point, I mean, I said, okay, fine. Either way, this one would have been a break even and then shake out anyway. So on 2 trades, I'm up 450. So not much to show for it, but first I tried a short trade against this upper area of resistance, and I tried to pull back long trade and see for a retest of the highs again. We'll see where they end up. But same dynamic there on the NASDAQ, right? Looking to buy support 2100s. If they take that out, look for a retracement right down to the 20,050 is going to be an edge right now, and then going to be a little bit lower as well. So I think could be an interesting dynamic. Let me take this. I'll get right back on this again. Hang on. But that was an important call. What quick but important. Sorry about that. Anyway, on the NASDAQ, looking to buy weakness at this point against the 2100s. Against, if they start taking that out, look for a retracement down to that 20,050s, and then potentially, I had to look at this a little bit more carefully for a lower edge. But if you start retracing, they could head back into that below the 20,000s. I think there's going to be an issue because that's when we run into that reverse support area, same as we had on the ES. Remember this guy? Same exact dynamic as on the ES. If they start trading below that 20,000s, I think they can retrace quite a bit lower. So we'll see if they can manage to hold on to it. But if they hold it, we may just have turned the corner. So 2 days on the way up. If they can hold on to this right now, we may just have turned the corner. On the bonds, we are pretty much range bound. Not much going on that guy. They were up, they were down. They're just kind of holding in the middle. So range bound trading on the bonds. And not going to worry about that. I haven't traded that one at all. But the only trades I took was these 2 trades on the NASDAQ late in it. I kind of watched this rally in disbelief. You look how beautiful that is, right? And I'm watching it in disbelief. I'm like, should I try a short trade? Should I trade? And every time, I mean, when it starts like this, sometimes you get a sense for that there's a squeeze going on. And this has no relief. No, I mean, you don't get the pullback to get long again. So the pullback goes super quick, little baby pullback, and then right back up again. That's why I had little B's here, right? That's the aggressive pullbacks, but that's all you got. And there was nothing to show. I mean, right now, when they run up to the 2150s, that's when they finally run out of gas a bit. On the ES, we up to the 57, 55s. And man, that's a pretty good move to the upside. So starting off on the long side, if they trade down below that 20,000s, I would say below 20,000, we start off range bound. But above it, we'll stay on the long side. And then finally, oil and gold. Finally, oil and gold. Oil, we're going to roll that after the close to the May expiration. It just range bound. Look at that big crazy thing at the close. That was an interesting dynamic. That could ruin your day, a move like that. So range bound oil, not haven't traded that. Gold is range bound, still holding in the range. Capital flow on gold is to the upside though, so I would trade it from if anything, I would favor the long side. But you look, we are pretty much heading into a range around about 3,000. So probably expecting to stall here for a little bit, build value. So looking to buy against the 94s, the 89s, and the 87s for rotations back up. Looking for short setups against the 3010 or 9 to 10s, and then the 14s for rotations back down again. And oil, I mean, that's as long as they stay below 68, I'm going to stay on a short side on oil. So then I would favor the short side if you wish. Now back to the ES, and so tomorrow we had the Fed meeting beginning. If they can hold on to this support, I mean, they run up to this 57, 55s on the ES. So they're above this area, the 57.45. These 2 support areas are going to be key to hold going into the close. If they can do that, we're in good shape to potentially move something up here in the overnight. So that's how we end the day. Let's keep our fingers crossed that they can get something out of this. Alrighty, we'll wrap it there. So 2 trades from the NASDAQ for me today, and then basically one shakeout and 1 scratch, and that was it. Not much to show for it, but man, that rally. And I was watching the NASDAQ, and I was watching it in disbelief. Like you kind of had to just freaking buy it and hope you didn't get run out. But then every bar on the Nasdaq is the same as my stop size almost. So it just makes it really difficult. I hate to buy the high, and then yeah, because you can't just have nowhere to go after that. So anyway, we'll wrap it there. So I'll see you in the morning. You have a great evening, guys. Later.